Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are traveling far back in time to talk about two of the greatest mysteries in human history. These are the people who seem to disappear into thin air. In this episode of Ancient Civilizations, we will explore two lost groups. The first is the Anasazi, also called the ancient Pueblo people who lived in North America. The second is the Sea Peoples, a powerful group that attacked ancient kingdoms and then vanished. Who were they? How did they live? And most importantly, why did they disappear? Let us begin this journey into the past. The cliff dwellers long ago, in the dry lands of the American Southwest, a great civilization lived. They built homes in cliffs, valleys, and deserts. Today, we call them the Anasazi. The word Anasazi comes from the Navajo language. It means ancient enemies or ancient ones. The people themselves did not use this name. Today, many prefer to call them the ancient Pueblo people. They lived in areas that are now Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. This region is known as the Four Corners. Their amazing homes. One of the most famous things about the Anasazi is their homes. They built large stone villages called pueblos. Some pueblos had hundreds of rooms. They also built homes high inside cliffs. These are called cliff dwellings. Places like Mesa Verde and Chaco Canyon show how skilled they were. They used stone tools, wooden beams, and mud to build strong homes. Even today, their buildings still stand. This tells us they were very smart builders. Their daily life, the Anasazi, were farmers. They grew corn, beans, and squash. These three crops are called the Three Sisters. They also hunted animals like deer and rabbits. They collected wild plants and seeds. They made beautiful pottery, baskets, and tools. Their designs were detailed and meaningful. They also had strong spiritual beliefs. Many buildings were made for ceremonies and rituals. A strong and connected society, the Anasazi were not small groups living alone. They were part of a large connected society. They built long roads across the desert. Some roads were very wide and straight. This shows they had trade, communication, and planning. Chaco Canyon was a major center. It had huge buildings and was likely a political and religious capital. At their peak, the Anasazi civilization was powerful and organized. The Great Disappearance, then, something strange happened. Around the year 1300 AD, the Anasazi began to leave their cities. One by one, the great pueblos were abandoned. Cliff dwellings were left empty. Fires went cold. Homes were silent. By the time Europeans arrived, the cities were already ruins. So the big question is, why did they leave? Possible reasons for their disappearance. There is no single clear answer. But scientists and historians have some ideas. One major reason could be drought. The Southwest is a dry area. Studies show there were long droughts during this time. Without rain, crops failed. Without crops, people could not survive. Another reason could be overpopulation. Too many people may have used too many resources. Trees were cut down. Soil became weak. Food became harder to grow. Violence and conflict. There is also evidence of violence. Some ruins show signs of attack. Walls were burned. Bones show injuries. As resources became scarce, people may have fought each other. This could have forced many families to leave. Did they really disappear? Here is an important truth. The Anasazi did not vanish completely. Many experts believe they moved south and east. They became the ancestors of modern Pueblo tribes. Today, the Hopi, Zuni, and other Pueblo people still live in the region. They carry the traditions, stories, and beliefs of their ancestors. So the Anasazi did not disappear. They changed, moved, and survived. But their great cities were left behind, frozen in time. Part 2. The Sea Peoples' terror of the ancient world. Now, let us travel to a different place and time. Around 1200 BC, the ancient world faced chaos. Great empires began to fall, cities burned, trade stopped. And at the center of this storm were the Sea Peoples. Who were the Sea Peoples? The Sea Peoples were not one single group. They were many groups who traveled by sea. We do not know exactly where they came from. This is part of the mystery. Some believe they came from the Aegean Sea. Others think they came from Europe or Anatolia. What we do know is this: they were fierce warriors. Their attacks, the Sea Peoples attacked powerful civilizations. They fought the Hittite Empire. They attacked cities in Greece. They even challenged Egypt. Many great cities were destroyed during this time. The Bronze Age world collapsed. Egypt vs. the Sea Peoples. One of the best records comes from Egypt. Pharaoh Ramses III wrote about battles against the Sea Peoples. He showed them in carvings and texts. They came with ships, weapons, women, and children. This means they were migrating, not just raiding. Ramses III defeated them in a great naval battle. But even after this victory, Egypt was weakened. Why were they so dangerous? The Sea Peoples used advanced weapons. They fought with swords, spears, and shields. They moved fast by sea. They attacked without warning. At this time, many kingdoms depended on trade. When trade stopped, everything fell apart. The Sea Peoples helped break this system. Why did the Sea Peoples appear? This is another big mystery. Some experts believe climate change played a role. There may have been droughts and famine. Others think earthquakes destroyed cities. People had no choice but to move. War, hunger, and disaster may have pushed them to the sea. They became migrants and fighters. And then, they disappeared after about 100 years. The Sea Peoples vanished from history. No more records, no more attacks. So what happened to them? Some believe they settled down. They may have become farmers and traders. Others think they merged with local populations. One theory says they became the Philistines mentioned in the Bible, but there is no clear answer. Just like they arrived suddenly, they disappeared silently. What can we learn from these lost people? The Anasazi and the Sea Peoples lived in very different places, but their stories have something in common. They show us how fragile civilizations can be. Drought, climate change, war, and lack of resources can destroy even great societies. They also show us that disappearance does not always mean death. Sometimes it means change. People move, they adapt. They survive in new ways. The mystery lives on even today. Scientists continue to study these civilizations. New tools like satellite images and DNA testing help us learn more. But some questions may never be answered, and that is what makes history so exciting. The past is full of stories waiting to be discovered. Final thoughts. The Anasazi left behind silent cities in the desert. The Sea Peoples left fear and the memories of empires. Both remind us that time can erase even the strongest powers. But their stories live on. And as long as we keep asking questions, they will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which lost civilization you want to hear about next. Thanks for watching.